mother of Annika, who is sitting right there.
Annika.
Annika goes to school with my son, and it's through really our kids that we got connected, and we, met, of course, at school events, and then started talking at Pete's Coffee Shop, where we both hang out with our computers, and then we started talking about writing, and she's actually turned into my writing buddy, and has given me really helpful feedback in the last round of edits on my book, which I'm submitting to agents next week. And we may recruit JD to be part of our writing group as well. I want to thank Lorna for being part of this process of hatching this plan and inviting us to her parents' house. So thank you to the Andersons for having us here and in this really cool space in this gorgeous house, and for letting me come in and make myself at home.
I'm glad we were still here when you arrived.
Me
We
too.
almost missed you completely.
So, yes, thank you so much for sharing this space. And I want to thank all of you for coming out, and I want to thank Dana Kinney for coming up with the whole idea that we should show No Impact Man, which is sort of a One Sky story. Dana's been a member of Spheres of Influence, and we're very sad that she's moving to Washington, D.C. this month. So she's moving on to other, actually, international terrain. So we're going to miss her. But last year, a year ago, she and I did the One Sky training on basically how to speak to our elected officials on climate policy. And then
Paul was in that group.
Paul was in that too. Yes. Yes. And then Dana did a little letter writing get together at her house through One Sky earlier this year, and people who participated in that got a free copy of this movie. So out of that came the idea to show this movie, and Colin Beavan, who is No Impact Man, it has a relationship with One Sky, and he's kind of a One Sky spokesperson, liaison, and you'll see that actually in the movie in a way that I missed. Dana brought my attention to it. So what we're going to do is watch the movie and then have a little discussion over pound cake with fresh peaches, which I brought back this morning from Michigan, and also melon that I brought back from Michigan. So the enticement to stay for the discussion is
Good.
As good as the food.
Yes.
food, yes, local food, and I've got organic tea from Pete's, and we can enjoy more alcoholic beverages if we like.
There you go.
Till they're gone. So after the movie, we want to talk a little bit about how we can reduce our environmental impact. We have the ability to calculate our eco impact online. And also because my organization is Spheres of Influence, and my whole notion is that we need to use our spheres of influence, however big or small, to catalyze other people to think about not just how we can reduce our own environmental impact, but how we can catalyze others, and make commitments on paper about what we're going to do. And as a psychologist, I can tell you that when we make very specific intentional commitments that we write down, we're more likely to follow through. New Year's resolutions tend to fail because they're too broad and vague and general. So if we say, next week I'm going to do X, we're more likely to do it. So that's what we're going to write. So we're going to write on these. If anybody has not signed in, I would love to have you just sign in with your name and email address. I'm going to pass this around for anyone who hasn't signed in. I have a relationship with Healthy Green Goods on Main Street, and we have 10% discount coupons here if you would like. They have an expiration date which has passed, but I think she'll still honor them. So I'm going to pass these.
It's a great store.
Yeah, all kinds of. She vets products, so she does the homework for you, which is really nice. We are also selling copies at cost of my favorite book about climate change, because it tells the story of what's happening to our planet in pictures. that are beautiful, that make you want to look at what's happening. There are very few words. The words are well chosen. It's called Extreme Ice Now. This is a photographer who has taken photographs that no one else has taken. No one has attempted to do what he's done. He has literally risked his life. He has hung over ice pits with a camera and literally almost slid in and met his death. So it's a beautiful, beautiful book that I think people need to see and share. So the books are $25, which is what I paid for them. And you can pay for them by credit card if you want, using one of these forms, or write a check to Spheres of Influence. But this is a Spheres of Influence book, as far as what I consider to be using our spheres of influence. So that's the story. Just one quick word about One Sky and why I think it's important. One Sky is a climate-only policy organization. So their commitment is to catalyzing bold policy initiative on climate change. So unlike other environmental organizations, they're narrowly focused on this one issue, so it's not diffused across other kinds of commitments that they have. And they're working on policy only, and they're not building a whole new infrastructure. They're really trying to tap into existing infrastructure so their overhead is low.
Is that a national organization?
It's a national organization, yeah, based out of Bethesda, but with sort of fingers, around the country. Very grassroots.
And they really want to catalyze a variety of people, diversity is a better word, of people from all walks of life to come to show the American people's support for some broad goals and saying this is what we want as your plan, now figure it out, the details. They don't try to get into whether they should be cap and trade or not, just want to support green jobs, renewable energy, get rid of dirty coal. And this is one document I can pass around that you can see. And they have a website.
Yeah. And Spheres of Influence is also mostly climate focused. It's my organization, and it's about bringing people together to be in conversation with each other and with thought leaders about what the issues are and what we need to do. So it's really about empowering people to take action very much through dialogue and conversation. And I do a monthly virtual roundtable. The next one will be this coming Tuesday with Suzanne Canfield, who is the person who lobbies on climate change for Garden Clubs of America, which has 72,000 members, I believe. And she also works with Faith in Place on climate policy. And what I love about Suzanne is she is what I call an unlikely environmentalist. She's very, very soft-spoken. And, just like if she'd been born in the 1950s, she would have little white gloves. And so she doesn't conform to stereotypes about what I think legislators expect in terms of who they're going to hear from. And this is what she does. So she's going to be talking about her own experience of getting into this kind of work and how she's learned how to be an advocate for climate policy. So that's on Tuesday at 1:30. That's a virtual roundtable. Okay, so we're going to start the movie, and you're going to be the
Right.
remote control guy.
Kay, can you get the lights? Hey, by the way, does anybody hear about this this enormous ice mountain that fell
Yes.
off of Greenland today?
Yeah.
Any details of that?
No. What happened?
I don't know really much more than that, but yes, there was a chunk of ice that fell off in Greenland today. As I learned about it this afternoon, I was getting ready to send out some addresses to people who were coming here tonight, and I saw this and I said, oh,
This is massive.
Isn't this, yeah.
It's massive.
And so, I mean, it's what's happening to our ice. It's the size of multiple states. I think the equivalent of 4 states is what fell off today.
Really?
4 states, yeah.
What did it fall off onto or into?
The ocean.
The ocean?
It's a
Yeah.
tipping point.
Yeah. So it's the kind of thing that's happening, and at the same time, the other thing that I think people need to understand, and I'll just do a quick little spiel on this, is that